deal with airplane peanuts?
Oh, God. This is hard. All right. I just want to announce to everybody that Khalyla and I are no longer together. It's been not over. It's not over. I mean, in the sense that, you know, I want to say that Khalyla is the love of my life, my best friend. If there was a book about my life, she would be, if there was 10 chapters, she'd be 4 of them at least, 5 of them.
Give me half.
I'll give you half a chapter. Yeah.
For half the book.
Today's Monday, July 18th, and we have some sad news in the comedy world today. The Tigerbelly crew, Bobby Lee and Khalyla, they've announced that they are officially no longer dating. The show will go on as normal as host and co-host, but the two are no longer in a relationship.
But here's the good news. We're not stopping Tigerbelly. We're not. We're good. We're good. We're not stopping. I'm never gonna see anybody else in my life. I have no interest.
Well, you a priest?
I don't know.
I have no interest. I really have no interest. You know what I mean?
We just need time to heal. You don't know that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's how I feel.
And as always, welcome back to the Joke World Comedy Update. Every single Monday, bringing you the news that you need to know from your favorite comedians, your favorite podcasts, new stand-up specials, the whole comedy world all in one place, summed up for you every Monday. So please consider subscribing to Joke World right now, turning on the post notifications so you don't miss anything. Last week was a little slow in the comedy world for news, but we usually have some great stuff in these, and we still have some great stuff to talk about today. This breakup comes on the heels of all the Brennan Schaub drama they just went through, which if you don't know about that, we have a great video summing it all up for you. It's obviously very sad to see them breaking up. I mean, we've seen them together hosting this podcast for years now. I'm curious about so many things. If the podcast is going to be a little bit awkward to start, if there's going to be any rekindle of this relationship, if Khalyla has to move out. I mean, what's the living situation? They do Tigerbelly from their house or from Bobby's house. So how's that going to work? I mean, there's a lot of questions to still be answered.
You know, what's changed though? I mean, we sleep on the same bed together.
He doesn't want to let me go, you guys.
Yeah.
He's like, free Bobby, free me.
Yeah. She's
He
not
has
leaving.
me
She's not leaving.
hostage.
Merch.
I've literally been like,
He's not
I'm
leaving.
looking for another place to live, and he's like,
No.
no. He's not allowing me out.
No, because it's just, you know, what's changed?
To be honest, though, it almost seems like there was too much shit going on for them not to break up, and for them not to break up publicly. I mean, think about it. They had the Brennan Schaub and the H3 drama going on. Then it comes out that Bobby Lee might have been entertaining other women during this relationship, which leads to them going to an open relationship, which leads to Khalyla seeing another guy in Hawaii. You have Stevie, Bobby's brother, calling her a gold digger. You have the internet tearing them apart, everyone weighing in from so many different angles. It makes sense that they need a break, they need to let this settle down, and they needed to break up. That's just too much to go through.
So essentially, my brother said some things to a random person that were not true. He has, to me personally, apologized. You know what I mean? For me, you know what I mean? And I think he knows his mistake, but I don't know fully. You know what I mean? How he feels, but. Essentially, you know, he said things like, you know, Khalyla was a gold digger.
Conspiracy time. They might still be together, dude. How do you not break up with all this going on and the public just ridiculing your relationship? It kind of makes sense for them to be like, okay, we're broken up. Everyone gets off both their backs. They still host the show together. Give it a year, and then they get back together.
We spent 24 hours a day together. We created Tigerbelly together. We have other things that we want to do. We have 7 animals. We live together. Her niece lives with us. We're a family, and there's a warmth in the house, and it feels like a family, like I said. But it got to the point where, you know, it's like, what else? If I'm not going to change, and I'm not, you know, and I trust me, I tried. So it got to the point where I was like, you know, we threw out suggestions and things that, you know, I was mindful about how Khalyla can maybe, you know, get her needs fulfilled, right? And I threw out suggestions, maybe you should see somebody else, you know what I mean?
Bert Kreischer dropped a mega podcast episode last week. It had hints of the old Sober October days when you had 4 great comedians all on mic, drinking, busting each other's balls. A big podcast episode. Although this one was cool because it was on Bert's tour bus. During the Fully Loaded Festival, there was like a rain out at one of the venues. So they did a podcast with Shane Gillis, Mark Norman, Big J. Okerson, Brian Simpson, Chelsea Lynn, Nikki Glazer, then obviously Bert hosting it. And it was cool to see them all on a bus and all these comics drinking, having a good time, and doing this big podcast for 2 hours. The content itself is interesting because for me watching this, I'm mostly a fan of Gillis and Norman and Big J and Bert kind of group, right? Mostly New York guys. And then there were some LA comedians like Nikki Glazer and them in there. And the vibes, you could just see the different styles clashing. The New York guys being more raunchy, joke reliant, just trying to do whatever's funniest. And then some of the LA comics trying to mix in some woke themes or like preachy lessons. It was hilarious to see both these styles clashing and just what I think is way funnier, which is like Norman and Gillis just kind of almost making jokes between themselves, even with their eyes.
Even if we don't get to do a show tonight, I had so much fun today. And
that slide.
It's nice that we get this hang because I was kind of getting sad because we have to leave at midnight tonight as opposed to having a long hang afterwards. What are you laughing at? God. What are you laughing at, Shane?
Nothing. Keep talking.
Every time I start talking a little too long, he starts laughing and it makes me self-conscious. But I'm just saying that I'm glad that we have a hang now as opposed to a show.
I like to watch the faces of people around her when she's going.
And what do you see in those faces, Shane? What do you observe and what makes you giggle?
I see people's souls leaving their fucking bodies.
I do this for a living, Shane. It's really insulting.
I'm sorry. I'm fucking.
There's also a moment in this where Nikki Glazer apologizes to Shane Gillis about some things she said on Howard Stern about his SNL firing, which is like very awkward to watch and also kind of fun to watch.
It's not awkward at all. I don't think. Shane, I'm sorry I brought it up. We can totally not talk about it.
think it's awkward.
Okay, good.
Who invited
What
Nikki?
happened?
I was on Stern and I said like stupid shit about commenting on his SNL thing, and I didn't expect to get asked about it. And I just said stuff I don't even know what I said. I wouldn't even want to revisit. I'm embarrassed of what I said. And
Wait, I thought this is you were on
and I
SNL,
didn't know
Shane?
him. What?
Yeah, I was
That's
on
a Mark
SNL.
Norman.
So many people I've had like I'm right and they're wrong and they don't know what like. You just get. Thanks, Mark.
It's the last one. Swear
They
to God.
get.
I mean, at least
You
hit
just-
it on the microphone if you're gonna do it.
I put it in.
Oh,
You don't consider how you could maybe be wrong in the situation, and then
Can I
you
tell
go,
you when I
"Let
fight
me
with
just do
Leanne?"
an experiment where, what if I was wrong? What would that look like?" And then you go, "Oh, it kind of sucked." What are you doing it again?
It's good.
Can you
I feel
not
like
film me farting, by the way?
fighting
I
with
can't
a-
have that on camera.
This was a huge podcast episode that dropped so many big name comedians all in one episode. I told you the news is a little slow this week.
The first night we watched it, and it was great. There was
Amazing.
no Dave and Mans. And it was the first half of the movie, which is just shitty. It's just Jaguar Paul getting his life destroyed. And it was like, holy fuck, I can't wait to see this. We were so excited. We were at the after party
pumped.
last night. Like, let's get the fuck out of here.
I know.
Let's watch Apocalypto. This is going to be great.
Is that really the name?
That's his
Jaguar
name.
Ball? It's the
Yeah,
real
Jaguar
one.
Ball,
It's so
yeah.
funny.
Well, he's indigenous, so I don't think their names are funny, but
I'm sorry.
okay.
When I
E?
offended. I'm so sorry.
No, don't worry. I'll defend you. Publicly, I'll defend you.
You would defend. You
Go
would.
on, Howard
You'd go
Stern.
to the fucking mattresses for Nikki.
I would be so excited to be like, fire her down.
I would say I deserve it. I deserve it.
No,
No, you weren't that bad. on me.
No, yeah.
You weren't. I watched it.
Thank you.
It really wasn't that bad.
I couldn't watch it again, so
I did. It wasn't that bad.
He played it for all of
Thank you
us.
for saying
Yeah.
I was so excited for a friend to be on Howard Stern.
that.
It's like Nikki's on Stern.
Dude, I
She was
get so
"That
stoked
Shane
whenever
Gillis
I
guy
know
is a
to
piece of
Stern."
shit."
The guest list is where we go through who was on each other's podcasts the previous week to make sure that you don't miss any comedian appearing on any show that you'd like to watch. So to start off, we have maybe my favorite duo, my favorite combo in comedy. We have Tom Segura on the Joe Rogan Experience.
I see this guy pull his dick out, right? And what we learn is, remember the guy that said the thing, and I'm like, I hope you die in a house fire?
Yeah.
The guy behind him was like, you don't fuck with Tom's show. Cool. So he's on my side. He's like, I got Tom's back, and starts to piss on him, and then ends up pissing on a bunch of people.
Your Mom's House had on Andrew Santino this week, another elite guest. Whiskey Ginger had on Boo Johnson. Flagrant had 2 episodes last week of Just the Guys, which are usually the funniest episodes when they go no guest and are just the crew. The Joke World podcast, we interviewed Nimish Patel last week. Christina P. was on The Honeydew with Ryan Sickler. This past weekend in Theo Von, they had a big episode. Riff Raff was the guest last week, which is always hilarious. Him and Theo look exactly the same. And then Tigerbelly has on Chris DiStefano for their first post-breakup episode. And in this last section, we cover any new specials that came out the week before. There was a moment in time where there were tons of specials coming out right when we started this. Every single week, we were talking about like 3 new specials. That slowed down a little bit, but we did have a massive one drop yesterday. Andrew Schultz dropped his first ever pay-per-view special on his website, July 17th. Obviously, we know the story now of him buying his own special back to have full creative freedom over the process and over the material after already selling it to a third-party streamer. So this is a big gamble that he took. I want to know what you guys thought of it. Did you like the process, the pay-per-view process, watching it on his website? Did you go to the live show after? Were you live tweeting, able to connect with other fans? Let me know if this process worked, if his gamble worked, if this is something that you want other comedians to do moving forward. That's it for this week in comedy. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, do all that YouTube stuff. I know every video you watch, there's someone being like and subscribe, but it'd be cool if you actually did it just for me. Or do it for everyone, but specifically this time too. Thank you for watching. Again, I'll see you next week.
Because you can tell he